The shootout to end all shootouts. The Monday night game they will be talking about for years to come. Is it the new normal? This is the Foxborough Report, brought to you by 1 in 100. If you're looking for tickets to Patriots games, Bruins games, concerts, you can get them for the price of a slice of pizza. That's pretty good, Evan.
Yeah, I like
Check
pizza.
out 1in100.co, 1in100.co, to enter the raffle for those tickets. Again, 1in100.co, and we thank them for sponsoring this segment. Evan, that was some game on Monday night.
It was a hell of a game, yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
I unfortunately was busy during the first half. I got to watch the second half, and you know it's a good game when you miss part of it and you still don't feel like you missed any. Like, I felt like I watched that whole game even though I only saw half.
I watched some of the coaches' film last night. It was like Citizens Kane or like the Mona Lisa or
Yeah,
something like that. It was just beautiful to watch, and I think that the thing that stood out to me the most was actually not the coaching. Coaching was fantastic on the offensive side of the ball, don't get me wrong. The thing that stood out the most to me, though, was that the skill players of those two teams are on a different level of fast.
Amazing, yeah.
The pace that those guys move at, and what we're going to get into is that the new norm. That's the biggest thing to me as to why it's not replicable, is because the speed and the skill that they combine. You can't just get Tyreek Hill.
Right.
He doesn't grow on a tree.
In a perfect world, that's the new normal, right? Because every coach is drooling over those guys, but those guys aren't out there. Do you think that's what NFL teams are now striving to be? You know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you wouldn't just load up on speed guys like that because your team would get the crap beat out of you with guys like Tyler. And we're kind of tying together everything we've talked about here today.
Right? Like, you can't touch them, the receivers.
It's a speed game now. And
it was like a track meet. I mean, I watched a ton of game film, as you know. Watching like the Patriots play the Titans and then turning on that tape, the receivers are just moving at a different pace. I mean, they're just faster. And it's crazy to watch. It's not just Tyreek Hill. It's Brandon Cooks. It's Robert Woods. It's Conley. It's Travis Kelce, who's 6'7" and is running 4.5, 4.6 40. I mean, these guys are just moving at a different pace. That, combined with the fact that you have Andy Reid and Sean McVay, who also don't grow on trees, are really what I just don't think that everyone tweeting out and saying that this is the new norm. You can't replicate that. You can't just overnight just say, okay, here's 32 Sean McVays. Like, that guy is a unicorn. You know, he's a Bill Walsh. He's a guy that's not going to come around every day, along with the receivers who are just on a whole different level of speed.
But all of that being said, and it was a great game, and the people on Twitter who were saying, oh, you know, there's lack of defense.
That's not even true. There was tons of defensive plays in that game.
There were defensive plays. I don't know if it was great when you have 1,000 combined yards.
That's, to me, is what the new norm is that defense nowadays is turnovers and sacks. Right? Giving up points, giving up yards. Everybody's going to give up a lot of points and yards in today's NFL. That's just how good these skill players are, how good the quarterbacks are.
Let me get to this point, though. The overall response is pretty good on social media. The ratings were good, all of that. So you think the NFL will see that and try to, you know, tailor rule changes, this and that, to try to make more games like this. We've seen the NFL do things like that in the past.
The rules are a big part of it.
I don't know do you really want that as a fan? I don't know if I do. I think part of the reason that game is special is because
how unique it was.
Right. To go back to something else we talked about today, turkey for dinner every night, not great. Once a year, it's a nice treat. You enjoy it. I think this game's kind of like that. That game was fun because, you know, you maybe get a game like that. And the billing, too, I think helped a lot of these great games. You know, they end up not being so fantastic, right? Patriots-Falcons a couple years ago it was a good game, but it didn't quite live up to the hype. You have this lived up to the hype and maybe surpassed it, which is hard to believe. That every week, that's arena football. If that's what you want, you know, go watch arena football. And I like arena football. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But that's what that is. For every game like that, I also want to see a 9-6 game where there's great defense.
Sure, and I think that the defense is still going to have its day every once in a while, right? We're still going to see some grinded-out football games. The Patriots have certainly played some grinded-out football games this year.
I think we're going to see one Sunday night, Sunday during the day.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing here going forward is that the top 4 teams in the NFL right now, to me, are the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Rams, and the Saints. Those 4 games are going to be like that.
Yeah.
If those are the NFC and AFC championship games, we're talking about between those 2 games, a combined 200 points might be scored in those games. That's just the way that it's going to be because these teams are so well coached on the offensive side of the ball and they're so talented on the offensive side of the ball that there's just no stopping them for any defense. You could throw the 85 Bears out there against some of these teams, and I still think that, yeah, they would have their moments and they would certainly, you know, hold their own, but I think that it would be a struggle for them to hold those, you know, out to under, you know, let's say 24 points, 27 points, something like that. So I think that this is the new norm in the respect that the great teams in the NFL are going to be these high-powered offenses from now on, I would think, and the new norm also because sacks, turnovers, that's what defense is nowadays. But you're not getting 32 Sean McVays and Andy Reid's. You're not getting multiple Tyreek Hills. Patrick Mahomes is certainly a unique talent. That's all unique to those 2 teams.
All right. Let us know what you thought about that game. Would you like to see games like that a little more often? Throw it in the comments below or tweet it at us at Patriots CLNS. This has been the Fox Bear Report brought to you by 1 in 100. For Evan Lazar, I'm Alex Barth. Thanks for watching.